Good morning, friends. It is a beautiful day here in June, and I've got some harvesting to do. My barley over there is ready to harvest, so I've got my new harvester out here at the farm, picked it up last month, and I've got a header for it, which I just pulled out of my little shed here. So I need to get that header hooked up and then hop into the harvest. I've got my truck over there with the tipper trailer on, ready to receive, and when I fill up, I'm not going to put that in the silo. I'm going to take it over to the mill, because Javon was busy last month, and we got the mill set up. It's ready to start turning my stuff into flour. I have a lot to tell you about today. After I get this harvested, then I'm going to have straw to pick up. So I'll take this tractor over and pick up my forage wagon and pick up the straw off that field. And I guess I'll put that in my hayloft over there in the cow yard. And the cows need to be fed. So hopefully my grass that I cut last month will ferment soon. So that we can use it in silage, or use the silage in the feed mix. And what else? Oh, I'm thinking about trying to get some manure and slurry on that field to fertilize it if I have enough, and then cultivate that in, because I would love to turn this around and do canola in that field here in the fall. And then I think the other two fields I might use in the spring for some spring crops. Maybe some corn or sunflowers or soybeans. I don't know. I've been doing a lot of these grain type crops, which maybe I need to do at least one field as some sort of grain to keep flour production going in the mill next year. Now I've committed to that, so that's something I have to keep in mind. Alright, well, first things first, let's get some harvesting done. I will hop into a time lapse and see you in a little bit. I thought I was going to do time lapse, and I will, but this is my first time in my new harvester. And holy moly, this is amazing. I love this. This is so much nicer than anything I thought I would be able to buy starting out. Just check this all out. This is way nicer than the bare bones harvester I used when I was harvesting for Walter. Listen to that engine. Oh, I love it. It's super fast to drive for a harvester. When I was driving it back from the shop, I was driving this thing down the highway at almost 30 miles an hour, which is ridiculously slow, but for a harvester, that's so fast. Even just moving it around, it's just so fast. It's got really nice climate control, a lot of buttons and things. Eddie went over all these controls with me, and I wrote some of it down. I've got a cheat sheet, but I think even so, there's going to be some trial and error here. Yeah, this is amazing. I love using this piece of equipment. I'm going to have to line up better to pick up that header. Lots of new things to practice with. Let's try that. Great. Okay. I really will go into a time lapse for this. This new piece of equipment, I totally skipped over the fact that I am geeking out about this. This is amazing. Who knew when I moved out here I would get so excited about new farm equipment, but wow. I just love it. Although that header does make it real difficult to see where I'm going. Wow, I love this harvester. It's awesome. I filled up my truck. It doesn't have a lot of capacity in that tipper, so I think I need to just... Yeah, let's just hop over here and take this to the new mill that Javon set up. I don't know if I need to buy a bigger trailer, because that long one I sold doesn't work well on this truck. This one doesn't hold nearly as much. Anywho, let's get this taken over to the mill, and while I'm driving I can tell you a bit about what we've been doing. So let's see, my money has gone up. I cleared all of that sand off of Javon's new property for him and sold it, so I made a lot of money from that. And I made like $25,000 from selling or from doing that baling contract that got me all that hay. So I was in pretty good shape money-wise, and then I bought that harvester header and trailer. And Javon and I talked about how we wanted to do the mill. Everything looks okay over there with the cows today. Whether he wanted to pay for the mill or I should pay for the mill, who should own that, if he wanted to be my employee. We agreed that Javon was going to pay to put up the mill, and I would book a certain amount of capacity. I've got a contract with him to use a certain amount of capacity. I probably can't produce enough to keep that mill running full time forever, but I don't know if anybody else would want to. Oh, it really looks good, I've got to say. And he landscaped the heck out of the area where he put his little house up. We'll drive over there and I'll show you what he did. I don't think I can keep the thing going full time, so that's something he can theoretically take business from inside town if people want to bring him business to do out here in the mill. But I've booked a certain amount of his capacity, and we've done some very cool things with this setup. Let me check in and see what he's up to. I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, well, Javon has confirmed he definitely does not want to be on camera. I guess that's not a big surprise. But he's got this nice little house set up over here. He had some trees put in. He worked to get some grass growing already. He put in some flowers. He used to be a farmer over in the co-op in the... Well, I showed you where. This is very brown and barren for him, so he had to have something growing around him just to feel more at home. I would love to get some more fields going over here, something, just so he's got something interesting to look at. So yeah, Javon paid to put up the mill. He owns the mill. I have paid to book a certain amount of capacity, and we have an agreement that I will supply the mill with whatever fuel it needs. This is a sort of modern mill with the ability to run on a lot of different types of fuel, depending on what is available. So I think we're going to start out powering this with hydro. So I'll bring some water over from my oasis over there. But it can run on diesel, it can run on electricity. I think we can fuel it with methane. There's a lot of different options, so we can sort of do whatever we need to do. And I told you I was thinking about whether I could hire Leo's parents to do some work for me. Maybe if I could get Nelson to come and help me out with the dairy, and maybe get Lisa to run a bakery for me. And Nelson says maybe. He's willing to think about it. He's not ready to make that kind of commitment. Lisa said definitely not. She's been on Ravenwood for over half of her life, and it would be a big change for her to come out here and run a bakery. She loves baking, but not necessarily to do it as a production. She did, however, agree to consult with us about some equipment and give us her recipes and help us scale them to do like production level bakery work. So Javon and I have actually put in a small bakery in this mill too, so we can produce bread from Lisa's recipe and maybe some cakes. She has been collaborating with us on that. So our little bakery is over on this side of the mill. So I can produce flour here and also some baked goods with Javon's help. Very, very exciting. So I'm going to get this loaded in, and I don't think we can start the production. I think I still am going to need some fuel over here. So we'll finish harvesting that field, and then maybe off camera I'll bring some water over here and Javon can get this running. So that's super exciting. I will get back in here, get this loaded off, dropped off, and head back over there and continue with the harvest. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, well, that is harvest done. I love this piece of equipment. This is amazing. This is maybe my new favorite piece of equipment on the farm. I can't even tell you how awesome it was to use this thing. I need more fields now, so I can harvest all the time. This is cool. This is really exciting. Okay. You don't want to hear me gushing about this. This is such a... Okay, it's fine. I'm going to put this away for now. I'll drop this header back off on the trailer and put this back in the shed, and then I'll get the rest of that grain taken over to the mill. Oh, it's like tight through here now with this header. Get the rest of that grain taken over to the mill and get some water taken over there so we can fire it up. And then I'll come back and get my tractor here and get going with the forage harvesting, pick up that straw. So I think the next time you see me, I will be collecting straw on that field. I'll see you all in a little bit. Okay, I am all done picking up straw off that field. I've put the forage wagon back in its shed here. Oh, I totally forgot to mention. I bought a little silo here to store mineral feed for the cows. I need to put some in their food when I mix it, so I thought it would be easier to have a little silo to store it than just have a bunch of pallets sitting around. Hey girls, you are perilously low. I've got to get some more food for you. Fortunately, the silage has finished fermenting, I think. Let's see here. Look at that. That looks good. Alright. I will get some... I guess I need to get my wheel loader out, put the bucket on it. A lot to do. I have a problem, I realized. I was just in here checking how full this hayloft is now after I put all that straw in that I got off that field. That is one of 3 fields that will be producing straw for me from these harvests. That field yielded 235,000 liters of straw. That is so much more straw than I'm ever going to need for these cows in a year. It's a ridiculous amount of straw. And that doesn't count what I'm going to get off my other 2 fields, which will also yield straw. Now, I could just not chop the straw, but that seems like a waste. I could harvest it and sell it, and I think I made, I don't know, $60,000 or $45,000 last year from selling straw. So it seems worth doing, but my plan of storing it in that hayloft, it's not going to work. So I'm going to have to rent a baler. I assume there hasn't been one for sale. I'm a little bummed now that I didn't buy one of those balers that was in the auction, but I didn't know quite how much straw this would yield. So I'll have to rent a baler when I do the harvesting on those other 2 fields, and I guess store the bales in my shed over on the main yard until it's time to sell in the winter. So that's surprising. Yeah, alright, I guess that's everything here. I'm gonna get some feed mixed up for these girls. Get them fed. Yeah, you poor things. You're down to dregs. The dregs! And then I think I'm gonna look into whether I have enough manure and slurry to fertilize that field I just harvested. I mean, they're working on it, but that's not a lot of manure. I don't know how much is in this slurry tank. This might not be enough yet to do a field. So I'll look into that. If it can be done, I'll put some slurry and manure on that field before I cultivate it, so I can cultivate it and get it nice and fertilized. But if I can't do that, then I'll go ahead and cultivate it and just spread some pellet fertilizer on it. The other thing I totally forgot to mention. I got a lot of water over to the mill, and Javon reminded me that the mill produces some things as byproducts. As it processes through the grain that I drop off, it processes out any like small stones or gravel that might have been in the grain that I dropped off there, and there is chaff produced as it sort of takes out the little bits of chaff from the grain, and there is a byproduct produced that I can actually feed to the pigs. So there's several types of byproducts that I'm going to be able to get out of that mill, but the one I'm most interested in at the moment, I mean, I guess I can use the chaff for silage for the cows, which would be great. I can get that into this pit here with the grass once I cut this grass again. But also pig food. So I can get some pigs. I mean, I have a bunch of straw bedding and I've got pig food. So I don't know where I'd love to keep all the animals out here along this sort of a row, but I don't think I can afford to buy that next property over. I'm pretty sure up on this side, this property here goes all the way to the city again. And the one that I bought here, that the cows are on in my fields here, is like over $500,000. So I bet this one probably is too. So I don't know that I can afford to do that yet. I mean, I'm close. Maybe if I harvest some more, not harvest, pick up some more dirt off the roads in town. There's still some roads I haven't cleared yet. Maybe I could sell that, buy this property, but then I wouldn't really have money to put up a pig shed. But I will have a lot of money coming in over the winter when I sell the stuff I'm producing now. But I also want to get the farmer's market actually built. Now I'm going to have all this stuff to sell. I don't know what the right order is to do these next few things in. I'll have a think about that. I'll see you when I am fertilizing or cultivating that field. That will be my next order of business. Okay, cultivating is all set. That takes such a long time with this cultivator that I have. I think with the size of the fields I have, I really need a bigger cultivator. I don't know if I'm going to leave the cultivating in the video for this month. It might just be too long. We'll see. Maybe I'll just put in the beginning and the end of it or something. I don't know. But while I was doing all that cultivating, I had a good long time to think. Hey, chickens. They're giving me their eggs. I had a good long time to think about what to do next. Whether I should try to get some sort of pig production going. Well, not production, just a pig pen. Now that I've got that food as a byproduct of the mill. And there's also stone as a byproduct of the mill. And I'm just going to pull this over here. I think I need to service this tractor and maybe the cultivator again. So we'll get into the shop with this stuff. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe this cultivator's... Nope, not going to talk about that. Right, whether I should have pigs, and there's also the stone as a byproduct of the mill. So I think I'm going to hold off on the pigs for now. I really need to get the farmer's market set up. I've got cheese, finally. I'm really happy with the cheese I'm producing from the cow milk. I'm getting quite a lot of butter stored up. I've got bread now, courtesy of the mill, or I will soon. And I've got all these things in my greenhouses to sell. I've got the eggs, I've got milk. And I think it's time... Oh, and the honey. I think it's time to put up an actual building and see if I can get Jenny to come work there. So I guess that means I need a house for her also, or some sort of living situation above the farmer's market. So I'm going to work on that for the next month. And maybe also get going a way to turn that byproduct of stone into lime. Because if I'm going to be buying more property and plowing more fields, I'm going to need lime for those new fields. Eventually, I'm going to need lime for these fields again. So I'll work on getting those things up and running. I'll leave the pigs for later. Theoretically, if everything goes well with the farmer's market, I should have a lot of money coming in over the winter. And then I can get set up with pigs and maybe buy that other property and start some new fields going for the spring again. So maybe I should just plan to do that every winter if I can. Buy new property, get a couple of new fields going for the spring, and then eventually everything will be running smoothly. Yeah, I'm going to do that. That's what I'm going to do. So, hopefully, when I see you next month, I'll have a shiny new farmer's market to show you. And maybe a production to turn stone into lime. We'll see. We'll catch you next time. Ta-ta for now.